All right, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling something I know you've been wanting to explore, and that's this whole 10x rule thing.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going off of this book excerpt that you sent my way, and I got to say, when I first heard about it, like aiming 10 times higher and putting in 10 times the effort,
Right.
it's a lot. It was kind of like, whoa, hold on a second.
Yeah. But I'm ready to dive in and see what the fuss is all about, you know? For sure. It's definitely a bold concept.
Yeah.
And I think what's so interesting about it is how it really challenges like the whole conventional wisdom around setting quote unquote realistic goals.
Right, right.
You know, it's really a complete mindset shift, pushing us to think bigger and act bolder than we ever thought possible.
And he's not just talking the talk either, right? Like this guy has built multiple companies from scratch. He's seen massive success in real estate.
Exactly.
And he really attributes all of it to this 10x philosophy.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, he shares a story in the book about building his real estate business during a major market downturn.
Oh, wow.
Most people were playing it safe, you know, hunkering down. But he decided to actually ramp up his efforts, making 10 times the calls, attending 10 times the networking events, and he ended up dominating the market.
That's a perfect example of massive action right there.
Absolutely.
It's like by putting in that kind of what most people consider unreasonable level of effort.
Yeah.
You almost like create your own luck. You create the momentum.
Exactly.
You're not just riding the wave, you're creating the wave.
Precisely. And, you know, I think it's something that he argues is that most people just underestimate the level of effort that's truly required for success. They kind of get caught up in competition instead of focusing on dominating their field.
Yeah, there's actually this quote from the book that really stuck with me.
Okay.
He says, why spend your life making only enough money to end up with not enough money? That's a bit blunt.
Right.
But it definitely makes you think.
I think that quote really gets to the heart of his challenge. You know, he's not just saying work harder to get rich. It's about rethinking your entire approach to success.
Right.
Like, what are you truly capable of if you push past those self-imposed limitations?
I can definitely see how this could be really empowering for people.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, I'm imagining some of our listeners might be feeling a bit overwhelmed right now.
Yeah.
Like 10x everything. Where do you even begin?
I think that's a natural reaction, but, you know, the author doesn't expect you to become superhuman overnight, right?
Right.
It's about gradually pushing your boundaries,
Okay.
taking those incremental steps outside your comfort zone.
So it's more about the direction you're moving in that constant upward trajectory.
Exactly.
Than some like magical overnight transformation.
Precisely. And he uses this great analogy of maintaining a well-kept lawn.
Okay.
You can't just mow it once and expect it to stay perfect forever, right?
Right.
It requires consistent effort week after week to keep it looking its best. Similarly, success is not a one-time achievement. It's an ongoing process of growth and effort.
So kind of building on that is this idea of what he calls success consciousness.
Yeah.
Is that what he means by like truly believing that you're capable of achieving those 10x goals?
Yes, absolutely. That's a huge part of it.
Okay.
He argues that we often sabotage our own success by holding on to these limiting beliefs about what's possible. So success consciousness is about cultivating this unshakable belief in your ability to achieve anything you set your mind to.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah.
You've got setting these ambitious goals, obviously putting in the effort, and then having that belief in yourself. But I'm also wondering, you know, about the potential downsides.
Sure.
Could this lead to burnout? Could this lead to people neglecting other areas of their life?
That's a great question, and the author actually addresses that head on.
Okay.
He argues that when you're truly passionate about your goals and you're operating at that 10x level, the effort, it doesn't feel like a burden. It actually becomes a source of energy and motivation.
So it's not about like grinding yourself down. It's
Yeah.
about finding that sweet spot where your passion and your effort are aligned.
Exactly. And he also emphasizes the importance of balance. You know, he's not advocating for neglecting your health or your relationships in the pursuit of success.
Right.
It's about finding that sustainable approach that allows you to thrive in all areas of your life.
All right, I think we've laid some good groundwork here.
Yeah.
We unpacked this core concept of 10x, touched on the importance of mindset, and even addressed some of the potential challenges. But I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear about how to actually put this into practice.
Absolutely, and that's what we'll delve into next.
Okay.
The author outlines a series of mistakes that people make when setting goals, and he provides some really insightful strategies for overcoming them.
Okay.
It's about identifying those self-limiting beliefs, understanding the level of effort required, and developing a plan of action that will propel you towards those 10x results.
Sounds like we're just getting started.
Yeah.
We'll be back after a quick.
So let's dive into some of those mistakes that the author talks about and how to kind of avoid them.
Yeah.
One of the biggest pitfalls he highlights is this concept of mistargeting.
Mistargeting.
Yeah.
So it's not just about setting goals that are too small.
Right.
But it's about aiming at the wrong things altogether.
Exactly. And he actually gives the example of, someone who dreams of being a writer, but they're spending all their time pursuing a high-paying corporate job that they hate.
Right.
They might be achieving financial success, but they're not aligned with their true passion.
It's about figuring out what truly matters to you.
Yeah.
And then setting those 10x goals that are actually going to get you closer to that vision.
Absolutely. And then once you've identified those right targets, the next hurdle is often underestimating the effort that's required.
Okay.
People tend to have a very linear view of success, right?
Yeah.
Assuming that if they put in X amount of work, they'll get Y results.
Yep.
But the author argues that the path to success is rarely that straightforward.
There are always going to be those unexpected challenges and setbacks along the way.
Absolutely. He talks about the importance of anticipating adversity, which is something most people don't even factor into their plans.
Right.
He actually suggests listing out all the potential obstacles you might encounter.
Wow.
And then developing strategies for overcoming them.
So it's almost like a pre-mortem for your goals.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting for things to go wrong, you're proactively planning for those worst-case scenarios.
That's a great way to put it, and he calls it fear setting.
Fear setting.
And it's a really powerful tool for building resilience and mental toughness.
Interesting.
By confronting your fears head-on, you can start to dismantle their power over you.
It kind of ties back into that whole 10x mindset too, right?
Absolutely.
Being bold, taking risks, knowing that even if you do face those setbacks, you're going to have the tools and the mental fortitude to kind of bounce back.
Exactly. And in fact, he shares a story in the book about a time when he lost, a significant amount of money in a business deal.
Oh.
And, he felt fear, of course.
Right.
But he didn't let it paralyze him. He immediately shifted into 10x mode, working even harder and smarter to recover his losses and actually come out ahead.
That's really inspiring.
Yeah.
It seems like this whole 10x rule is not just about achieving those specific outcomes.
Right.
But it's also about developing a certain attitude toward those challenges.
Absolutely.
It's about turning that fear into fuel and those setbacks into opportunities for growth.
That's a great observation. And he talks about how most people allow fear and doubt to hold them back.
Yeah.
But those who achieve extraordinary success are actually willing to embrace that discomfort that comes with pursuing those ambitious goals.
So if you're not feeling at least a little bit scared, you're probably not aiming high enough.
That's a good rule of thumb. And, he argues that our comfort zones are often the biggest barriers to our success. If we stay within those familiar boundaries, we're limiting our potential.
Right.
The 10x rule is about pushing past those limits,
Okay.
embracing the unknown, and trusting that you have the strength and the resilience to handle whatever comes your way.
This all makes a lot of sense, but I'm also wondering, about the practical side of things.
Sure.
How do you actually go about putting in 10x the effort?
Yeah.
Does that mean you're working 24/7,
No.
neglecting your health, neglecting your relationships?
No, it's not about mindless hustle or sacrificing your well-being.
Okay.
It's about being strategic and
Right.
finding ways to amplify your impact. So, for example, if you're building a business, it might mean finding ways to automate certain tasks, delegating to others, or leveraging technology to reach a wider audience.
So it's more about working smarter, not just harder.
Exactly. It's
Wow.
about identifying those key actions that will move the needle the most and then focusing your energy on those. It's about maximizing your productivity and finding ways to create leverage.
This is making me think about how this 10x approach can apply to so many different areas of life,
Oh, yeah.
not just business or career goals.
Absolutely.
It could be learning a new skill, improving your fitness, strengthening your relationships, anything that requires that consistent effort and a willingness to push beyond those perceived limitations.
It's a universal principle, and he even talks about how he applied the 10x rule to his fitness goals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wasn't happy with his weight,
Okay.
so he decided to completely overhaul his diet and exercise routine.
Wow.
He didn't just go for a jog a few times a week. He hired a personal trainer, started tracking his macros, and completely transformed his lifestyle.
That's commitment.
Yeah.
It sounds like the results were pretty dramatic.
They were. He lost a significant amount of weight, improved his energy levels, and said he felt more confident and focused than ever before.
Wow.
And it all came down to applying those same 10X principles, setting ambitious goals, taking massive action, and believing in his ability to achieve those results.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's making me think about my own goals now.
Yeah.
And how I might be holding myself back by setting that bar too low.
It's so easy to fall into that trap
Yeah.
of thinking, oh, that's good enough, or I'll get to it eventually.
Exactly.
But maybe you need to start asking yourself, what would it look like to truly dominate in this area?
That's that 10X mindset starting to take hold, right?
There you go. It's about shifting from that scarcity mentality to an abundance mentality, believing that you are capable of achieving more than you ever thought possible.
I'm also realizing it's not just about individual achievement.
Right.
You know, the author talks about how achieving that 10X success often involves inspiring and empowering others along the way.
Absolutely. He emphasizes the importance of surrounding yourself with a supportive network of people who believe in your vision and who will push you to be your best self. He talks about becoming a model for others' thoughts and actions.
So it's not just about personal gain. It's about raising the bar for everyone around you.
Exactly. It's about creating that ripple effect of positive change, inspiring others to step up their game and achieve their own 10X goals.
I am feeling so energized by this conversation.
Good.
We've talked about the importance of setting the right targets, taking that massive action, cultivating that 10X mindset.
Yeah.
But I'm also wondering about the long game.
Sure.
How do you sustain this level of intensity and commitment over time?
Yeah.
Won't you eventually burn out?
That's a great question, and it leads us into, I think, the next key aspect of the 10X rule, which is this concept of perpetual success.
Perpetual success.
Yeah, he argues that true success is not a destination, it's a journey, a continuous process of growth and achievement.
So it's not about reaching a certain goal and then calling it quits.
No,
it's about constantly setting new challenges and striving for even greater things.
Precisely. And he argues that when you're operating from this mindset, the effort, it feels effortless.
Interesting.
Because you're aligned with your true purpose and passion. It becomes a way of life, a way of being.
I'm starting to see that bigger picture here. The 10X rule is not just about setting those big goals and working hard.
Right.
It's about transforming your entire approach to life.
Absolutely.
It's about embracing that philosophy of continuous growth, that relentless pursuit of excellence, and an unwavering belief in your ability to achieve those extraordinary things.
Yeah, got it. And I think the key takeaway for our listeners is that the 10X rule is not a one-size-fits-all formula.
Okay.
It's a framework for thinking, a set of principles that you can adapt and apply to any area of your life.
So how can our listener take all this amazing information and actually start putting it into practice? Where do they even begin?
That's a great question. And that's what we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive.
Right.
It's about identifying your 10X target, developing a plan of action, and taking those first bold steps outside of your comfort zone.
Okay, so we're back, and I'm ready to wrap up this deep dive on the 10X rule. We've explored the mindset, the potential pitfalls, and those strategies for taking massive action. But now I want to get down to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
How can our listener take all this amazing information and actually make it work for them?
I think a good place to start is actually going back to that powerful question we talked about earlier.
Okay.
Why spend your life making only enough money to end up with not enough money? But let's tweak that a little bit to make it even more personal.
Okay.
What area of your life do you feel like is stuck in that just enough trap?
Yeah.
Is it your career, a creative project, your health, your relationships?
It's so easy to get caught up in that day-to-day and kind of lose sight of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So this is about challenging yourself to think bigger, bolder.
Absolutely.
What would it look like to truly dominate in that one area that you've chosen?
Exactly. And once you've identified that area, it's time to set your 10X target.
Okay.
And remember, don't hold back. This is where you really stretch your imagination and push past those self-imposed limitations.
Okay, so give us some examples.
Sure. So if you normally save, say, $50 a month,
okay,
what would it take to save $500?
Wow.
If you usually write one blog post a week,
yeah,
could you challenge yourself to write 10?
Okay, so it's not about just doing more of the same, though.
Right.
It's about thinking differently, finding those creative solutions, maybe even redefining what success actually looks like in that area.
Absolutely. It's about embracing innovation and being willing to experiment.
Okay.
Maybe it's about finding a mentor who's already achieved 10x success in your chosen field,
Right.
or joining a mastermind group to connect with other like-minded individuals.
This is making me think about that fear setting we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Because I bet a lot of those 10x targets are going to bring up some fears and doubts.
Absolutely. But remember, fear is a natural part of growth. It's a signal that you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. So the key is to acknowledge those fears, develop strategies for overcoming them, and then take action anyway.
Take action. Yeah, he talks a lot about this idea of massive action.
Absolutely. It's not enough to just have the goal.
Right.
You have to actually back it up with that relentless effort.
And we can't forget about the mindset piece either.
Oh, for sure.
If you don't believe that you can achieve that 10x goal,
Right.
it's going to be that much harder to stay motivated and push through those inevitable challenges.
You're absolutely right. This is where that success consciousness comes into play. It's about cultivating that unwavering belief in your ability to achieve anything you set your mind to. It's about visualizing your success, affirming your strengths, and surrounding yourself with people who support your vision.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
Eh.
It's made me realize that this whole 10x rule, it's not just some motivational gimmick.
Right.
It's really a powerful framework for like personal and professional transformation.
Absolutely.
It's about taking ownership of your success and creating a life that is truly aligned with your values and aspirations.
I couldn't agree more. And I think the biggest takeaway for our listeners is that the power to achieve extraordinary results is within you.
Yeah.
The 10X rule is simply a roadmap, a set of principles that can help you unlock that potential and create the life you truly desire.
So if you're feeling inspired and ready to take your life to that next level, I encourage you to start applying the 10x rule today.
Absolutely.
Pick that one area where you're ready to break free from that just enough and commit to achieving those extraordinary results.
Yeah.
We can't wait to see what you accomplish.
And remember, this is just the beginning of your 10X journey. Keep pushing, keep growing, and never stop believing in your ability to achieve those amazing things.
That's it for this deep dive, but keep those amazing brains of yours exploring. And until next time, keep diving deep.